Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck and you want to make money online? This is exactly where you need to be. This full course is going to teach you exactly what you need to do to start making money online with Amazon reselling. All you need to do is just take action and listen to the stuff I teach you in this course, and you guys will 100% start making money with reselling on Amazon. This is my Amazon reselling free beginner course, of course, by myself, Eric Cooper. This course will teach you exactly how to start making money flipping brand name products on Amazon, all from buying products at a discount from suppliers, retailers, distributors, wherever it may be. A little bit about me: I started selling on Amazon in 2021 while I was working full-time at Pizzahut. I was only making $1,600 a month and knew I wanted to try making money online or run some type of online business. That's when I tried crypto and NFTs. I ended up losing over 4K, but in one of the NFT discords, I heard someone talking about Amazon reselling, and I DM'd them, talked to them a little bit about it, and that's when I dove right into it and got started. I only had 3K to start Amazon, and you really only need like $1,000, guys. I would recommend just 1,000 and up, and you guys will be good. But even if you have less, you can still technically start, but I would say you want a minimum of about 1,000. Today, I now have a team of virtual assistants that help me run and scale my business, all while having location freedom and getting to choose my own hours. I've done over $1 million plus in sales with over 200K profit in the past 2 years on Amazon. And this year, we're on pace to do 2 million plus in sales for just 2024. This is some of my student successes. TJ, absolutely crushing it, almost 150K in the last 30 days. Arnold also killing it. Saint just started, did 400 already in just one day, just starting out. Some of my other students, I highly recommend you guys right now scroll to the description and join my free Discord down below. This is going to be the perfect place for you guys to meet new sellers and start networking with each other and learning from each other. This free course will cover everything you need to know to get started making money on Amazon today. So what is actually going to get covered? How reselling works, the supplies needed, all the business models, terminology you should know, the business setup, beginner FAQ, when do FBA versus FBM, how to list a product, how to get ungated, free tools that you guys can use, what softwares you'll need, what products to buy, and then what products you should avoid, how to source for products, and tips to scale up your business very quickly. So, how does this business work? Amazon reselling is buying brand name products at a discounted price, then reselling them onto Amazon for profit. This isn't drop shipping, you don't run any ads, and you aren't buying products from China, okay? We're just utilizing Amazon's huge marketplace to get organic traffic and sales from everyday customers. This business works because most customers aren't checking prices on other sites. So what supplies are going to be needed? So you guys can get your free boxes on USPS website. This is super handy for FBM. And then for your shipping labels, you guys can get those for free as well on UPS website. And then for the big FBA boxes, I highly recommend Home Depot's. But you guys can also just use Walmart, Staples, anything like that, Uline. You guys are going to need tape, FNSKU labels, poly bags, which you can get all from Amazon. Poly mailers if you guys are going to be doing FBM, and then you will need a label printer as well. Now, I started with a prep center, so I didn't need any of these supplies or need to learn the actual skill of prepping. But for you guys, all the supplies needed are going to be linked in the Discord with a place to actually purchase it. So you guys can just get it straight off of Amazon to make it super easy for you guys, so you guys know exactly what to get. And then so all the Amazon business models are pretty much right in here. So we have wholesale, retail arbitrage, drop shipping, private label, used books, and online arbitrage. So wholesale is very hard to start. It's a long lead times and it's a lot more advanced. And you're going to need a lot more capital to definitely get started with wholesale, because some of these distributors, suppliers, they might have an MOQ, minimum order quantity of 5K. So if you guys don't have 5K to spend on product, it's definitely a little bit harder to get into wholesale. Now, retail arbitrage is a little bit harder to scale, because this is basically when you're going to be going into stores and buying products off the shelf, but you can find some really high ROI items to flip. Drop shipping, this is against Amazon's TOS, so definitely don't want to try to do any type of drop shipping. And so we have private label. This requires more time, capital, and it's a lot more risky. Private label is essentially when you guys are going to be basically building your own brand and launching it into Amazon. If you have the capital for it, private label is definitely not a bad business, but it's a lot more risky, and it does require, I would say, at least 5K to get started into that. Now, used books, there's very little capital required to sell used books, but it's very hard to scale. Now, online arbitrage, this is what I focus on. It's pretty hard to scale past 300K a month, but I mean, you guys can easily make 10 to 15K a month with just online arbitrage. You don't need to go into wholesale. And I know some sellers that are doing $1 million a month with online arbitrage, so it's definitely doable to scale very high, but it definitely gets a little bit harder with that business model. But either way, still a very scalable business model. Terminology you guys should know. FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. This is when you guys are going to be sending your products into Amazon and they will ship it to the customer once it's sold. FBM, this is Fulfilled by Merchant. This is when you guys are going to be shipping the product directly to the customer. So you guys will be holding onto the inventory in a house or storage compartment, something like that. Q4. So this is the last 3 months of the year or the holiday season. Most of the time people, when they're referring to Q4, they're usually referring to Christmas time because that's when there's a huge demand spike. Buy box. The buy it now button on Amazon, this is what's going to rotate between sellers. This is how sales are evenly distributed between everyone, right? Because most people don't really understand how the buy box works, but the reason why a lot of these prices don't tank is because the buy box will rotate between sellers. That way everyone's getting a fair share of sales. Now, a prep center, this is basically a third-party logistics warehouse or team that preps product and sends it into the FBA warehouse for you. OA, that is online arbitrage. RA, that is retail arbitrage. Sales rank, this is a number assigned to each product to determine demand. BOLO, or be on lookout. This is essentially a hot item, something that's just like maybe coming in and out of stock for a very short period of time. And WS, that's wholesale. PL is private label. And this is basically, again, just buying an unbranded product and then putting your brand on it, or just making your own brand. ASIN, this is Amazon Standard Identification Number. This is really important for when you go to list a product. Typically, you're going to be using the ASIN number. And I'll show you exactly what the ASIN number is, but it's very, very simple. So starting an Amazon business, LLC is not needed, okay? So a lot of people stress out about, having their LLC, having everything all set up, but you guys really don't need anything to get started. If you're watching this right now, my best piece of advice is to literally make your Amazon seller account now. Get it out of the way because it's very simple. You can start up as just a sole proprietor, and then if you want to become an LLC later on, you can do that as well. I would recommend setting up a business email. I recommend Gmail personally, but make a new email. That way you can have everything all separate. You're not using your personal email to set up your account. And then, like I said, just get your account up as soon as possible. You can always as well set up your business bank account or just a primary or a secondary bank account just so you have it. But that can all be done later on as well, right? You can always switch around your bank account information on Amazon. Beginner FAQ. So how much capital is typically needed to start? Honestly, anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 is a really good capital to start with. The more the better, but not everyone has 10K to start an Amazon business, which is completely fine. So can you get ungated? Yes, guys. There's going to be certain brands where you guys are not approved to sell yet, and that's completely fine. It's normal. But you can get ungated for these products, and it's very easy. And I'll cover this a little bit later on how to get ungated, but it's something very simple. How do you get products to Amazon? So basically what you guys are going to want to do is basically label the products. You're just going to go slap a label over the barcode that's already there. If it needs any kind of other prep like poly bags or whatever, you'll do that. You'll put it in a box, get all the dimensions, input it into Amazon, and they'll spit out a shipping label for you, and then you just drop it off, and that's how it gets sent into Amazon. So what are target profit margins? Typically, I would say the profit margins, especially if you're trying to run completely remote, is probably anywhere from around 10 to 15%. And can you automate this? So 100% you can get very, very close to automating it. There's definitely certain things you'll always kind of have to do, but like I was saying at the earlier, I have a team now, so they help me with sourcing for products, buying my products, and basically managing my stock and making sure we have lots of product to buy and a bunch of leads that we can follow up on and purchase. So how do you get paid? So Amazon typically pays out every 2 weeks. I have mine set up so I can get daily payouts, and this is something you guys will definitely get access to as well. Now, can I start part-time? 100% you can start part-time, and I would recommend every single one of you, if you do have a job, stay there. You want to invest your paychecks into inventory. This is something that really helped me scale up my business, is I would pretty much just invest everything into more inventory. That way you can keep growing your business, okay? It's very important that you work a job and do this on the side. It's not something that you need to be doing 10 hours a day. You guys can, dedicate an hour or two a night just to try sourcing and kind of learning the business. You guys will do fine. It's just the consistency that matters. So, when to FBA versus FBM. For those of you that don't know, FBA, this is typically what you're going to be doing. It's a lot more scalable and can be delegated to a prep center, and there's going to be a lot of cheaper shipping rates. And so yeah, FBA, again, this is when you're sending your product into Amazon, and once you get a sale, Amazon will ship that product to the customer for you. FBM is a little bit less scalable because you're just going to be doing a lot more shipping, but you have a much quicker cash turnover because you don't have to wait for Amazon to receive your inventory. So the minute it gets shipped to your house, you can list it onto Amazon, that product, and you could sell it right then and there. This is also great for learning because you guys can get immediate feedback on your products. So, let's say you just did a little test buy of 5 units and, it ships, you receive it in 3 days, you list a product, and you get sales right away. That immediate feedback will let you know to buy more units right away, whereas if you're doing FBA, you're going to have to wait 2 weeks, maybe even more, for Amazon to receive that inventory. Determining when to FBM. Usually the big times FBM is when there's the high demand spike. So Christmas, back to school, some of those holidays are going to be really good. And then if there's ever a huge seller count or offer count decrease, that's another great time to do FBM. So now I'm going to quickly talk about when to FBM and how you guys can actually tell what listings are going to be good to FBM. So all you guys want to do is scroll down on Keepa and then come down here at the bottom. And what we can do is just look at like the past week. And we can see right here, it says buy box and then it says FBM Black Diamond Central. So that's a good sign. Same again, we went down a little bit more. And we see FBM 101 Retro Kicks. So right there, that's telling us that there are sellers that are listed as FBM and they're getting buy box share. So that gives us a pretty good idea that there are sellers on here that are going to get sales FBM. And then the one other thing you guys can do to check and see if a listing is going to be FBMable is clicking data on Keepa, buy box statistics, and then I just filter it by last one. And then what we can do is we can kind of scan through here and we can see FBA. This guy's FBMing because he doesn't have the check and he just got the buy box. 101 Retro Kicks got it. Simply Q Fashion, he was getting it. And then a bunch of sellers right in here as well that were getting it when they were on the listing and they were listed as FBM. So that right there are the two kind of big signs that you can use to know that you're going to get sales FBM. Another thing that we can see on this listing is that the competition has died off a lot. So anytime that happens, it's a lot easier to get buy box share because there's a whole lot less competitors. So winning the buy box FBM is going to be a little bit easier because the competition has decreased a lot. But those are the two main things that you guys should look out for. And then if you see a listing that's doing well FBM, you can always just test it and see how it goes. Okay, so getting ungated, again, this is one of those things that a lot of people think is super hard, but it's very easy now and it's gotten a lot easier. Most big retail site email order confirmations will work for getting ungated. Basically, Target, Kohl's, Champs, Foot Locker, all those big sites will work for getting ungated. And basically all you need to do is submit an invoice or receipt with 10 plus units of that brand you're trying to get ungated in and just submit it. You guys will get declined. It's completely normal. Sometimes you get lucky and you get approved on your first one, but you guys are definitely going to get declined. I know some of my students that have been declined 30 plus times, but that 31st time they end up getting approved. So just keep submitting, and you guys will get ungated. There's also lots of brands that don't even require approval as well. So, you can also just try selling those brands and finding those brands. I highly wouldn't recommend buying inventory for an ungate unless you already have a profitable product to buy for that brand or category. Okay, this is something that I wasted my time on a lot at the start and money. I tried to get ungated for Colgate. I spent like $200 to get ungated in Colgate, and I don't even sell that brand. Make sure you guys don't do that, because you guys can save yourself a lot of time and money just by focusing on stuff that you already have profitable products to buy. And then if you find a product that's profitable and you want to get ungated, then of course pay for it, get it ungated. It'll be worth it. But if not, don't spend your time getting ungated. So these are some of the free tools you guys can use that's going to help you source for products and also just save a lot of money. So the Chrome extensions, we got DS Amazon Quick View and ASIN Fetcher. Both of those are going to be super good. Just do a little Google search for those. And then some coupon finders. This is going to be super important for getting discounts. You can use Honey, Capital One Shopping, and Coupart. All of these are going to basically automatically try coupons at checkout for you. So it's super useful, and it saves you a lot of time. And then also the biggest one is the Cashback extensions. Make sure you guys click the link in the description for these Cashback extensions, because there's a huge sign up bonus for, I think, all three of them. I think you get $30. So you guys will get $90 by using the sign up bonuses in the description. And these are all free, right? And you just get free money back for when you're checking out on certain sites. So for example, Rakuten, basically, let's say you're shopping at Walmart, you found a product, you're going to activate Rakuten on Walmart, and if you spend $500 and it's a 2% cash back, you just get 2% cash back on the $500 you spend. It's free money, so just definitely make sure you guys take advantage of this, because it's free and that's going to help increase your margins. So what softwares are going to be needed? You only need 2 softwares to get started. There's more than that as you get a little bit later down the line, but I would recommend just keeping it simple and cheap when you guys are first starting out. So all you need is Keepa and SellerAmp. So Keepa, $20 a month. This is going to tell you the historical price, the sales velocity of each product, and this is probably the most important software by far. Do not cheap out and get the free version, guys. The paid version gives you so much more information that is going to help make you a better buying decision. So definitely get Keepa paid version. SellerAmp, this is going to help with product research, and it has an FBA feed calculator. Again, only $20 a month. So for $40 a month, you guys could run a 7-figure Amazon business. So it is very cheap to start this business model, guys. I definitely recommend just starting out with these 2, and you guys will do just fine. So Keepa basics. I'm going to quickly go over some of the basics of how to use Keepa and just how it all works, because it's going to be very confusing at the start, and I'm just going to explain some of the graphs and what Keepa actually does. Yo, what's up, guys? Now I'm going to quickly go over Keepa with you guys so you guys kind of have a brief understanding of how it works and why it's probably the most important software you guys can use. So first things first, if you guys have it looking like this, there's going to be basically 3 graphs. If you want to shut it off, you can just hit this right here, subranks. I just have mine like this. Another thing I would recommend doing is setting up a custom date range. I set mine up to 120 days. This just basically gives you a little bit more of what's going on with the product, where the 3-month span, I just feel like it's not very long enough. So I just set mine on 120 days. So to basically start things off, we're going to have this top graph up in here. This is all essentially going to be your price related information. There's also the sales rank, as you guys can see, 8,000, 10,000. That's basically the sales velocity for a product. That's essentially what the sales rank means. You want your sales rank to be a lower number rather than a higher number. If your sales rank was 1 million, that product's probably only selling like once a month. Okay, and if your sales rank's 1, it's selling a crazy amount of times. Our bottom graph down here, this is all going to be the offer count. There's also a review count in here and the review rating. The offer count's going to be your most important data point on this bottom graph. because the offer count is going to basically help you determine if it's a good product to buy. Okay, and what I mean by that is when the offer count is low and it's a lower competition, the product's going to be a lot more profitable. So with that being said, you can kind of see how the product's pattern is moving by looking at Keepa. So if we look back in here, we can see when the offer count started trending up, that would be probably a bad time to buy just because the offer count is spiked up so high, right? Whereas if we go back in here, we can see the offer count doing a decrease. That would let me know that it's a great time to buy because the offer count is basically fading down, right? It's trending down. That makes it a good time to buy. Now that's just the surface level stuff with Keepa. I don't want to kind of overload you guys with information. I'll show you some of the other features, but there's obviously a lot to learn with Keepa. And for a lot of you guys that are completely new to using this software, I highly just recommend just messing around with it, just playing around with it. You know, zooming in, looking at, you know, what's happening, zooming out. On the right over here, this is basically going to be your legend, so you can see exactly what each color means. So we can see right here, the orange or yellow, I guess you could say, is Amazon. So with Amazon being in stock, that might be a product that you want to avoid because you don't want to compete with Amazon. And, you know, Keepa is basically going to let you know if Amazon's in stock, right? So that's a super important information. So another thing you guys can use with Keepa is by going to the data section, and then we have a little bit of information in here that we can use. So we can see under the product details, we can see what the average sales rank is. Up in here, some of the averages. We can see the variations that are in here. So these are the different ASINs for all the variations on this listing. Another thing you can use is the offer tab. This is a good little place to go if you want to see how many sales a product's doing. Again, these are usually a rough estimate, but we can see this right here is saying sold past 30 days is only 35. And then what we can also check is the buy box statistics. So you can just click that, and then we can filter by last one. And then we can see how many times the buy box is rotated in the past day. So anytime you see a buy box rotating a lot, that's a good sign that a lot of sales are happening and a lot of people are getting an even amount of sales. So that's a good sign. So anytime the buy box is rotating like that, it's usually a good sign. We also have the variations tab. This is something super important if you guys are going to be selling a lot of clothing and stuff, because there's always going to be different sizes, different colors, stuff like that. So it's important to check your variation tab and make sure the variation you're looking at buying is actually selling quite a few sales. So you can do that by, you know, looking at the ratings. So you can look over here on the ratings for each variation. Typically ones with higher ratings. So for example, this listing right here, since it has the most ratings, is probably selling the most, but that's not always accurate. It's just a good rule of thumb that you can use. We can also see right in here, there's a bought in the past month tab. So we can see this one's 200 plus, the one below it's 300 plus, 50 plus, 100 plus. And then the other feature you guys can use is the one we used earlier, which is data and then offers. Both of those are going to be really useful to exactly see how many sales that variation listing is getting. That way you guys don't send in a listing that doesn't really sell. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how to list a product on your storefront and make sure you're approved to sell that brand. So for example, this product right here, what you're going to want to do is find the ASIN. So that's going to be this right up here. This is the ASIN. Another spot you can find it is on SellerAmp right over here on the left. Just copy this right here. Just hit the copy button. All you're going to want to do is now go to your Seller Central, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see this catalog tab, and then that's where you're just going to hit add products. And then what you're going to do is paste the ASIN in here, and then so this one we're going to hit new as a condition, hit apply to sell. So right now as it stands, we are not approved to sell this product, but make sure anytime you guys go to try to list a product and you see this, always just hit request approval, because there are times where you will get auto approved and you won't need to submit an invoice. Right now we didn't get auto approved, and now it's just asking us to submit an invoice with at least 10 units. So this happens, and so we can't sell Nike, but every time you guys it says you're gated, just make sure you click request approval. It takes 2 seconds, and sometimes you will be auto approved. so you won't actually need to worry about getting an invoice to get ungated. I'm going to show you just another example of a product I can sell. That way you guys can see what the actual listing page looks like. So we're going to paste that ASIN in, select new, sell this product. All right, so this is basically going to be the listing creation page. So for your guys' SKU, typically I like to have it structured as my retailer underscore the product underscore what I'm buying the product for. That's just how you guys can keep everything organized, and you know exactly how much you paid for each product just by a quick glance at looking at the SKU. And then quantity, if you guys are going to do FBM, merchant fulfilled, you're going to input your quantity. If you're doing FBA, you guys will do that after, right? And that's going to go away. And then of course you want to do new, and then setting your price. If you guys are going to list a product, make sure you set your price well above the buy box. So right now we can see that this product's selling for $34.98. I would probably list it for $44.99 just because we're not actually selling the product yet, especially if we're doing FBA, because we're sending it into Amazon. We don't really have any units available for sale yet. There's no point in lowering our price already to match competitors, especially if we don't even have any units available to sell. When it comes to what products you guys should avoid, this is my list on the certain stuff that you should look out for. So the first thing is IP complaints. You definitely want to avoid those because that's going to affect your account health. And then if Amazon is on the listing, that's also something I would probably just avoid, especially as a beginner seller. And then offer count spiking up, that's going to be a super big product to avoid, because chances are, even if it's profitable now, with the offer count spiking up like that, it's probably not going to be profitable for very long. And then you want to avoid products with a very unstable price. It's just because you want to actually make sure you're going to be almost guaranteed money, whereas stuff that's just like really up and down all the time, you don't really want to hop on that, especially as a beginner seller. Listing age, this is another big one, and I've gotten burned by this multiple times, but anytime you see a product where the listing's only been around for 90 days, just be on the fence about it, especially if it's not a product that's completely brand new, because there's a good chance those listings could just be, they keep getting deleted and then re-uploaded, then deleted, then re-uploaded. So that can kind of cause a bit of headache, especially if you send your products into FBA, like into Amazon, and then the listing gets deleted. You're going to have to create a removal order and, you know, have that product shipped back to you. So just avoid that. And then brand mismatch. I'm going to go over kind of all of these, but brand mismatch is another one. Basically, certain products will basically be owned by a different brand. I'll show you exactly what I mean with an example, but that's just something to pay attention to as well, as just the brand mismatches. All right, so now I'm just going to show you some examples of some of those products you should avoid. So just for the first one, Amazon is on this listing. The one good thing I'll mention about this listing is Amazon isn't always in stock. So they're in stock right now, but there was a gap right in here where they weren't in stock. Another one right here, and then a little bit in here. They were out of stock, which is good. But I do think for beginners, you guys should avoid selling listings with Amazon in stock, just because I don't want some of you guys to buy a listing where Amazon's dominating all of the sales and you guys aren't getting any. Now, one of the other big things is IP complaints. So this is probably one of the biggest one, because this one can actually affect your account health. So the two biggest things you want to look for to avoid IP complaints is see if the brand's on the listing. And if the brand is on the listing, that's when you want to look at the actual offer count and see if you see any straight lines down. So essentially what they look like is this right here. So this right here is an IP complaint. So the offer count was 17, and then it shot all the way down to 2. So essentially what happens is they just kicked everyone off this listing and issued an IP complaint. And so anytime you see this, it's probably best to just avoid that listing. Now, this product did have one, but it was very long ago. So sometimes some people might, risk selling on this just because they haven't issued one in a very long time. So you could always take that risk, but you also have to think, is the reward worth it, right? Because if you do get that IP complaint, you're going to be stuck with that inventory, and also it's going to mess up your account health a little bit. So just my point of view. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the offer count spike. So this is probably one of the biggest things you guys will run into when it comes to buying a product that was profitable and then the minute you guys send it in, it just stops being good anymore and it tanks. The biggest reason for this is because there's just an offer count spike, and that's what's happening right here on this product. So we can see here there's 9 sellers on this listing, and in the matter of just 2 weeks there's already 28 sellers. So anytime this happens, right, there's more supply, so obviously the price is naturally going to start coming down, right? Because people are going to start getting impatient, and they're going to want sales, so they just start dropping their price. And this is what happens. So you need to make sure that if you are going to sell on a listing, the offer count is somewhat stable. And if the offer count does spike up, make sure there's at least a lot of demand. That way a lot of the other sellers can sell out of their stock, so then the price will recover eventually. You also do want to avoid just listings with unstable pricing. So for example, this listing is pretty unstable. So we can see here in the past 120 days, it's usually selling around, like 26, 28, 27. And then in here, there's a small gap where it's selling for like 40, 38, 39, 39, 37, right? So you want to make sure that if you were going to sell a product like this, you'd want to probably be profitable at what its normal selling price is. So it's like around 27. All right, so you want to make sure you're profitable at around this price, because yeah, I mean, you might be profitable at $39, but just because you're profitable at $39 doesn't mean it's not going to go back to that original price, right? It will go back to that 26, 27 range, because that's what this product normally sells at, right? There's just for some reason, there's a big increase in price, and that's simply just because there's pretty much no sellers, right? We only had 1 seller on here, so the offer count was so low that the price became super inflated. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is brand mismatch. So a lot of you guys probably aren't really sure what that means, and I'm going to show you right here. So this is an example of a brand that this happens to a lot. Essentially what these guys will do is there's certain brands that will sell a product, and then they'll add a sticker or add something that has their branding on it. That way they can own the listing. So this is an example right here. So the brand here is Spring Valley. That's the actual brand of this product. And then there's this brand called Light Spring, okay? And they've managed to create this listing and own the listing because they're adding a Light Spring guide, okay? And so that's what happens, right? So these guys will add something into the listing. That way they can basically claim it as their own. And the reason this is dangerous is because if we hop on this listing, this guy actually has the power to kick us off because he technically owns that listing. So that's why you really want to avoid brand mismatch listings. And then the other thing I was talking about earlier, just about the listing age. So for example, this one, it's only been around for 55 days. And obviously, the brand mismatch would be another reason why I wouldn't sell this product. But even if there was no brand mismatch and it was fine, I still wouldn't want to sell this product simply because it's only been around for 55 days. And I know that this product has definitely been around for a really long time, so it's kind of surprising that there wouldn't already be a listing. So there's a good chance that these listings are just getting deleted, re-uploaded, deleted, re-uploaded. So I just want to avoid all my headaches, and if I see a product where the listing age has only been around for something like this, 55 days, it's very short, right? So there's a good chance the listing will get deleted. Probably wondering, what products should you buy? This is typically what I look for if I can. Offer count trending down, that's going to be something that's going to be super useful, because if the offer count is trending down, there's a good chance that the profit is actually going to increase because the price is probably going to increase. Or I'll just look for a stable price. So usually I want something that's stable within the past 120 days or at least the past 90 days. And then I also really want to be profitable at the lowest price in the past 90 or 120 days. The reason for this is because I want to make sure that if worst comes to worst and it goes back to that lowest price it was in the past 90 to 120 days, I'm at least not losing any money. And then the biggest thing is it needs to have some sort of discount or coupon, okay? That could be a subscribe and save, that could be a coupon, that could be a bundle discount. It does not matter what it is, it needs to have a discount. I never buy any products at retail price because the products that you buy at retail price are so easy to find. So beginner sellers will find those products very easily and then tank your listing. The other thing I like to look for is at least 100 plus sales per month. Honestly, at this point right now, it's probably 200 to 300 sales per month, just because I don't want to try to sell anything that's slow moving, because if there's a tank or something else happens, I can get rid of the product very quickly. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you my exact strategy that you guys can use to start sourcing for products and finding winners that you guys can buy and just start making money on. This strategy is going to work for beginner sellers and even advanced sellers. First thing you guys want to do is take a product that was either a lead or a product that you guys are going to use as a starting point to look at the sellers on that listing. So I have this product. This is a product that my VA found a long time ago. It's not very good anymore since the offer count spiked up and the prices kind of shot down. So although this listing is tanked and it's not very good anymore, we can still use it to our advantage because there's a bunch of sellers on here that are selling products that we can probably find for a profitable price and resell. So what you guys want to do is scroll down on SellerAmp, and what you want to do is just look for some of these storefronts. I would try to avoid storefronts with more than like 100 reviews, especially as a beginner. Once you get more advanced, you can start looking at some of those sellers, but anyone with 100 reviews, a lot of their products are going to be a lot harder to find, right? So you're going to have a lot of tough time finding those products. So we're just going to pull them up and kind of look at their products. What I like to do is look on the right here at this Keepa graph, and I like to look for stuff that looks pretty stable. This one looks pretty stable right here. So what we can do is just open it up. And then, so yeah, this product actually looks really stable in terms of price, which is good. And then all you guys want to do is basically hit the search product title on Google, and then you guys just want to start opening up suppliers. So as we scroll through here, we can open up all these different places and then check them out. So we can buy it on this site for $16.34, which this one isn't crazy profitable, but it is selling for $29.99. So if we input that as our sale price, we can see that this one's $5 profit already, 31% ROI. So this is actually pretty solid so far. So what I'm looking at here, guys, is if we look at the Keepa graph, we can see that the price is spiking up higher. So you see how I have this purple line highlighted? That's the buy box, and what we're looking for is to see what price the buy box is going up to. So we can see the buy box does jump up to $29.99, $28.99, $29.92. Those are all good signs because that means we can definitely get sales at that price. Now, although we found it for $16.34 on this website, it's important that we check these other websites and see if we can get it cheaper somewhere else. So it looks like it's the same price on this website, $16.34. And then it looks like it's $18.15 for this last website. But there we go. We already found our first profitable product. And of course, that was the first one I clicked on, so I did get a little bit lucky. But this is the exact process you guys can use to find products. So now what we can do is we can actually use this product as a starting point to look for some of the storefronts on here and see if we can find more products. So it almost becomes a domino effect because you can just start looking at all the leads you find, then looking at those storefronts, and then if you find any leads from those storefronts, look at those products and look through those storefronts. So you just have endless amount of leads that you just need to follow up on, essentially. You just want to look through a lot of products, try to find them very cheap at different sites. So now with this one, we're going to do pretty much the same process. Just scroll down on SellerAmp, look for some sellers that have relatively lower review count. Let's take a look at this one. This one's kind of piqued my attention. So we're going to open it up first, take a look at the Keepa graph. This price isn't super stable, but it has a lot of demand. Okay, so that's definitely something that's going to be useful. We can see in here the buy box has been jumping up to 65, 63.99. So we can definitely sell this product at $63. So let's take a look and see if we can find it. So we're just going to open up all these different suppliers and see if we can find them. So this one says 47.70. So definitely not profitable there. 48.99. Not profitable there. Oh, these prices were in Canadian. Okay, so 42.90. So let's see how much this one is. This one might be in Canadian pricing as well. Either way, we'll take a look at this. So 42.93. So even then, without a coupon or anything, we're still decently profitable, right? We're making $6 a unit, and this listing's selling like crazy, right? We're getting over almost 1,200 sales a month. So I mean, put it this way, the profit isn't super good on this product, and we might be able to get it for cheaper. But let's just say we can sell 100 units a month of this one product. We can make over 600 a month with just this one product. Right, so once you multiply that by 10, that's when you can really start making a crazy amount of money with this Amazon business. And that's why it's so scalable, because you can just add and find a bunch of different products that make you money month over month. Take a look at this one. So just looking at the Keepa, we can see this price is pretty stable. The sales per month are relatively low, but these sellers aren't dropping their prices like crazy, which is a good thing. So the sellers on here are pretty smart. So we can get it on Home Depot for $13.97. See if we can find it anywhere else. So we can't find it anywhere cheaper, which it happens. So the reason they're probably able to buy this and be profitable is they're probably just buying it on sale, and we just missed out on the sale. So sometimes what you can do if you really think this product's really good is you can actually favorite this and just check back, daily, weekly, and see if it ever goes on sale. Take a look at some more. Seen this brand before, so we're gonna take a look at this one. Do you guys notice how when I'm scrolling through these products, I don't also click on every single one? That's something that I see a lot of people, you might want to do at the start, but once you get a little bit more experience, you want to make sure you're skipping over anything that just doesn't seem right or doesn't make any sense to you. Obviously, it's hard to tell that when you're completely new, so as a beginner, it's probably best to open up as many products as you can. But if you see products where Amazon's in stock, or you see the Keepa graph over here on the right looking super unstable, maybe just avoid those products. But let's take a look and see if we can find this one. I think we can only get it here from their brand website. So buy box has been jumping up here to 67, 68, even jumped up to 82. So there's probably a good chance we could sell this for 64. With that being said, we're not quite profitable. If we could find a coupon that maybe just gives us at least 10% off, that would definitely make this a pretty solid buy. Because at 42, we're not quite profitable. But again, still making pretty crazy money, right? Because it's $7 profit per unit. Obviously, this listing we're not going to sell 100 times a month since this listing's not really selling too much. But you can see how these little wins that you just keep stacking up with more products. Try this one. The price has recently just spiked up. It was selling a lot for only 40 back here, but recently just spiked up to 49. So now would probably be a really good time to buy this product. So you can get it for 26. So this one would actually be really solid. Yes, this one would be really solid. Ideally, you'd probably want to try to find a coupon or something just so you're not buying at that retail price. There's no subscribe and save or anything, unfortunately. What I would do to find a coupon for this site, you're going to want to use that Honey, Capital One Shopping. Use those extensions, but also what I would recommend is just grabbing the title, so Joan Rhodes Beauty, and just searching up coupon. This can be another great way to try to find coupon codes. Basically what you're going to do is just click through these and just try all these different codes and just see if you can find one that actually works. That's my best strategy when it comes to finding coupons, and you just kind of have to do that for every site and see if you end up finding any. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this sourcing strategy. I hope this works out for a lot of you guys. Honestly, once you put in enough reps, if you guys just spend, an hour a day, you guys are definitely going to find products. And, it might take you 5 hours to find your first product. But once you find that one product, if it can make you 200, then boom, you already basically made your time worth it. You're probably making already more than you were at your normal job. So just stick with it, guys. Get consistent and you'll get really good at sourcing. I'll give you some of my best advice when it comes to scaling your business quickly. First things first, I would highly recommend you guys work a job full-time if you can, and then just do this business on the side, and then invest everything you can into more inventory. The more you spend on inventory, the more you guys are going to grow your business. It's as simple as that. If you're not spending money, you guys aren't going to really be able to grow as much. So the more money you can invest by, working a job, having another little side hustle to keep investing in inventory, the quicker you guys are going to grow. The next thing, this is probably one of the biggest ones, is FBM. So FBM, you can definitely grow much quicker because the turnaround is a lot faster. When you're doing FBM, you can order a product and it, get to you in 3 days, and then you can sell it after those 3 days. Whereas if you're doing FBA, it's going to ship to you. You might be using a prep center. The prep center might take a few days to send it into Amazon, or you might take a few days to send it into Amazon, and then you have to wait, maybe a week, 2-3 weeks to actually have Amazon receive the inventory. So it's just a long waiting game when it comes to using FBA. So definitely do a lot of FBM if you can, and double down on what's already working. So if you guys are trying to scale up, I'm assuming most of you guys have probably gotten a little bit of sales. So dive deeper into the brands you're currently selling, see if there's any other products for those brands, because you've already done the hard work of finding those products. So usually there's more products from that exact same brand that you can just sell as well. And if you have good capital, invest into more education. That's something that I wish I would have done when I first started. I purchased a course and it helped me grow a lot, but I think having a mentorship would have actually helped me grow even more. Stuff that I learned in 2 years, if I would have paid someone to learn it, I would be a lot further than I am now. One more that I didn't put on here is network with others, guys. Definitely want to join the Discord below and just start talking with other sellers. That is the biggest thing that has helped me the most, is just talking with other people, right? If you guys all share one product or 2 products, you guys are just going to grow 20 times faster. So just make sure you guys are talking to some of the other sellers and, DMing some of these guys you see on Discord, and post your guys' sales. No matter what sales you guys have, if you guys can't post it in the Discord, show everyone where you're at, what's been working for you. Just help each other out and you guys will definitely grow way quicker. Anyways, guys, with that being said, I hope I helped some of you guys and you guys can start selling on Amazon and making a lot of money. If you guys did find some value in this video, please subscribe and drop a like on this video. And if you guys can, comment if you guys want to see more, if you want to learn some more strategies. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.